This is the Filmmakers Brunch at the Consulate General's residence in Hancock Park for the Greek Film Festival. All the filmmakers are here having breakfast, networking, and we have a chance to talk with them and share their stories with you at Network.tv.
So, good morning. I'm Gregory Karahalios, Consul General of Greece.
Now, this is such a wonderful event. Can you share with us your passion behind supporting this fantastic festival?
Well, it's a very important festival because this festival gives to the Greek cinema the opportunity to expand beyond its borders. We need that because Greek culture needs some, to cross the borders sometimes. We are a very ancient civilization, but very few people know something about modern Greece. Fortunately, they hear about Greece only for the last years. We have some negative aspects, let's say, that's economic hardship, etc. And this is why exactly we need to find ways and to support these people that they are doing this kind of effort to export something different, culture, quality, themselves and the image of the country somehow. So we need to support them because I know that we are in Hollywood where, it's the mecca of cinema. It's very hard here to present a different product. But nevertheless, we must do it. And I believe that sooner or later also the American audience will need to understand that there is also another kind of cinema and that has to offer something different.
What are the three major strengths that you see that Greece has right now and will continue to have as we move forward into the new world?
Well, Greece, first of all, like all ancient countries, needs to look back to his own history, to its own roots. As I said, we are in a difficult moment right now. And we need to look inside ourselves to find all that strength, all that courage, and all those characteristics that make us a great country once. This is what we need to find. We have it. We just need to dig a little bit deeper and stop quarreling and, looking for small things and try again to find ourselves, be proud to be Greeks and show to the world that we can be, a very important part also of today's reality.
Well, thank you so much for hosting this fantastic breakfast, and we're super excited to be here, and thank you again.
Thank you very much.
My name is Stavroula Tosca, and I'm the director, writer, and producer of Beneath the Olive Tree, which is a feature documentary narrated and executive produced by Academy Award winner Olympia Dukakis. It's based on 7 journals that were found buried beneath an olive tree on the Greek island of Trikeri. This island, which is right at the Volos Peninsula, served as a concentration camp for women, for thousands of women, political exiles, during the civil war in Greece, which was from 1946 to 1949. So, years later, one of the women returned on the island and she was able to find those journals still buried in a tin can beneath the olive tree. And they talk about how the women managed to survive, what was the political climate at the time, the tortures, the executions, everything that took place, but also what was the involvement of the US and British governments at the time in keeping these concentration camps open. And the last thing I'm going to say is this is a deeply personal film for me because a few months after I started doing research on the subject, I came to find out that my maternal grandmother had been one of these women. So this also becomes part of the story.
Oh my goodness, how heartfelt is that? And I had no idea. I mean, this is very historical. This is an amazing story.
It's interesting because I was born and raised in Greece. I left in my early 20s, and we don't talk about the Civil War in school. It's not in the Greek history textbooks. In my family, it was never discussed. So, and I never knew to ask any questions regarding the subject. So I think it's about time we start, digging and looking into these stories and learn from the mistakes of the past. Get our lessons, make sure they're not repeated again, because what's happening currently in Greece, it's really tragic, and I have no doubt that it could have been avoided.
What did you learn on a personal note doing this documentary?
Yeah. first of all, I learned how to survive on very little money as an independent filmmaker. Because when you have this goal and you have this purpose and this dream of bringing these stories to the world, nothing else seems to matter. All of a sudden, this is the one main thing. It was. I went through a very difficult period with my family, my mother back in Greece, because she refused to speak to me in the beginning. So it was me having to convince her that I have a right to know our family's history. Everything you are, or everything my grandmother was, you have passed on to me consciously or subconsciously. So I went through the motions of, feeling ignorant in the beginning and then being angry at what I was discovering, or the fact that my mom, all these other women were trusting me with their stories and my mom would not. So that, caused a lot of different types of feelings, amongst us. But she finally understood on her own. She came to it on her own, and she spoke to me about it. So that really changed our relationship. It took it to a whole other level, and I really got to understand my country, my people, and myself much better from knowing all this and from working on this documentary.
Well, congratulations and much, much success with your documentary.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My name is Cordy Voorhees. This is my brother John Voorhees here. We just wrote, produced, and directed The First Line, which is an international feature film about the return of the Parthenon sculptures. Yeah, well, my brother and I were both very interested in the subject matter. We had spent a lot of time in Greece. Our family is half Greek. And we would go...
Mom's side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we would go every summer. And we spent a lot of time there. I studied history and classics in college. We got very inspired to tell a story that would not only be the legal arguments and the moral arguments for the return of the Parthenon sculptures, but also be an interesting story that was set in contemporary Greece and showed locations in Athens in a new light and in a way that's never been seen in a feature film before.
And we also explore the economic crisis and what bearing that has on the issue of reunification. We also draw an analogy to the idea that Athena, the founding goddess of Athens, the city of her namesake, she may have some significance and maybe a source of inspiration for people today because she was a source of inspiration for people in ancient Greece. And so that is a timeless quality that she may have. So we co-directed and co-wrote, co-produced. Personally, Cordy brought me into the project. It was my brother's idea to begin with, and I wanted to support this project because it does have a lot to do with our heritage. We both care deeply about the issue, it was a wonderful process to collaborate with my brother and support him in every way possible. So we worked together on pretty much every creative aspect of the film, which was a real pleasure.
I mean, really, I think I learned a lot about the fundamentals of storytelling and how when you really get to do your own material and work with it and experiment, you unlock so many interesting things, and it's such a creative challenge. And just the process of making this movie has just enlightened me so much about filmmaking. I'm finishing my degree at USC Graduate Film School right now, which is fabulous, and I've learned so much there. But it's great. Yeah, and the process of doing this film with my brother, and also being at school, and I'm now getting ready to graduate. I feel so confident moving forward to tell more stories. I think the other thing that I have really learned is just the power of collaboration, because filmmaking is all about collaboration. When you have a good team and you have great people that you're working with, you can accomplish anything. And most people looked at us like, oh, are you completely crazy going to Greece to make a feature film with all of Greece's problems and shooting in 85 locations and really going all over the city of Athens and also filming in the UK. It was a huge logistical challenge, and we're so proud that we not only got through the process, but people are really responding positively to the film, which is the most important thing. You make the film for the audience. You want people to love your movie. And we are hoping that this film can not only provide a form of entertainment, but also give people a great education on this issue and the importance of the reunification of the Parthenon sculptures, the importance of art repatriation internationally. So that's what we felt.
Well, just to go off of what my brother was saying, the idea of putting together a team and being able to manage a team creatively and efficiently such that you can produce a product that no one person could do by themselves. It really is. It requires a whole team effort. So, being a first feature film as well, you know, we made a lot of learning. Or there were a lot of learning opportunities along the way, and so you certainly keep those. You keep those lessons with you, and you can apply them forward. Maybe not repeat some of the same mistakes you might have made. You know, so but it was a very good process. We learned a lot. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for talking with us, and I can't wait to see the film. I mean, I would love to see it.
It's coming out internationally this summer. We're doing our UK release in July, and then right following that, we're going to be doing international video on demand release. So everybody will be able to see the film all around the world. So we look forward to it. The first line coming out this summer.
Thank you so much.
My name is George Chuchalis. I'm the director of something called A Night in Athens, starring Angelo Tsarouchas, which is a comedian. And we shot it in Greece, in Athens, Greece, appropriately enough, so there's no false advertising in the title. It's sort of a two-parter. We went to Greece to shoot a documentary called Back to Sparta, which is Angelo's journey. And while we were there, we decided to do a comedy special, which... It's funny because Angelo's built a career as a comedian telling jokes all around the world about his Greek heritage, but the one place he's never performed is Greece.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so and it was funny because when we tried to explain it to the people there before we got there, to say, okay, well, it's a guy standing in front of a microphone telling jokes. You know, they would ask, well, when does the bouzouki player come in, or when do the skits happen? And I said, no, it's just a guy at a microphone telling jokes. So it was funny. Like, what we found is that stand-up comedy is really not something that's that big a deal in Greece, which I found ironic considering, you know, that's where it started from, comedy, tragedy. So it was challenging, but I think they got it. And I think it's what they really needed with everything that's happening in Greece right now.
Well, where can we find more about the film? Is there a website we can go to or a trailer?
It's screening tomorrow at I believe 1:30 at the Egyptian Theater, and you can go to my website www.thatguyproductions.ca, and there's more to come because the second part of it is Back to Sparta, which is the full-length documentary. Yeah.
Thank you so much for chatting with us, and can't wait to see your project.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Stay tuned for tomorrow night's coverage of the closing night carpet for the Greek Film Festival at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood. This is Joy Paris of RichGirlNetwork.tv.